Hey there, friends. How's it going? Richard here, coming at you with a little bit of a news update. Just saw this come across my feed and thought it's actually an interesting read. Google released news today, or at least like just an update that they're changing some of their tuning models, like spam with respect to search results. I find this interesting because, again, the last few of my videos have been around strategies that I've been using to grow my businesses, particularly using SEO, keyword research, content ideation, content creation, and to help, as a one-man show, I use automation and tools to help expedite those things. Otherwise, I get inundated with all the tasks and the work, and plus you have your life, right? So I just wanted to share this. I'll put the link in the description below if you do want to check it out for yourself. But it's an interesting read, a very quick read, but let's just hop into it just to see some of the things that I think are good for people who spend the time and energy to actually create content, and things that I think will be challenging, especially as a smaller business and you're trying to leverage SEO to grow traffic. So let's just hop on in. Again, just an introduction here, and then the key changes that they're announcing with respect to the quality of their search ranking factors and their search algorithm. In terms of the results that you'll see, they're aiming for improved quality ranking. Basically, Google is coming out here and saying that they want to enhance the search results that are coming up. Apparently, the experience on Google search, Google believes, has degraded somewhat over the last few months, few years, particularly if people, as people create content that is pretty cookie cutter, I think is what's really going on here. Usually have, like, with recommendation sites, affiliate sites, it's just very cookie cutter and doesn't really provide information. The whole purpose of Google is that people go to it to find answers to questions. And so when you've got content that is out there that alleges to answer a question or alleges to share certain information and then doesn't, that hurts the search ranking, so, or the quality of the search engine results. And so I think Google is aiming to implement, which is a good thing for all users, right? Second thing they're announcing here, new and improved spam policies. So that has more to do with using old websites, leveraging sort of an SEO footprint that they had to bring that site back to life and see traffic that way. So let's just keep going here. Reducing low quality, unoriginal results. So Google, in this article, shares that since about 2022, they've been tuning their ranking systems to help weed out and keep out or filter out from the top results low quality content. And as you can see here, they're looking for web pages that are unhelpful, have a poor user experience, or feel like they were created for search engines instead of people. This could include sites created primarily to match very specific search queries. So again, like, what is curious about this is that this probably harms smaller local businesses more than anything else, because you've got a ton of business out here, and maybe this is a consequence of SEO agencies telling or peddling these services to smaller businesses that, hey, if you do queensemergencyplumber.com and all your content is just Queen's Emergency Plumber, like, that's a very specific search query. The other thing that's curious for me about this is that, like, I use keyword research to create my content. If you go to my law office website particularly and go to, like, the original articles, which I'm trying to clean up now, I was just writing based on ideas that I had, like, things that were interesting, cases that I came across that were interesting. But guess what? None of those articles got any traffic. It didn't drive any traffic to my website. They were original, they were informative, but nobody cared about that. Like, what I've learned recently is that you have to have a very methodical approach to creating content, and that starts with finding specific search queries. I use WriterZen and other keyword research tools to find out, okay, this is going to be what this topic, when people search for this, I want to be there. So I'm not really sure that either I'm not understanding what Google is saying here by this could include sites created primarily to match very specific search queries. Is it that everything on the page, it's like oversaturated with a core term of, again, plumbing emergency in New York City, or is it like, hey, Google can see that this page this blog post, for instance, is trying to rank and optimize for this particular term, we believe that it's too good to be natural, so we're gonna like penalize it. That's where I get a little, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Anyways, let's see. We believe these updates will reduce the amount of low-quality content on search, send more traffic to helpful, high-quality sites. Look, the challenge right now is that helpful, high-quality sites, what does that mean, right? If it's the person or the website that has the most backlinks, like the challenge right now for a small business that's either just starting off or trying to get their wits about them with respect to online traffic, you're often competing against online entities that have super, like, tons of revenue, tons of like departments writing content. So I'm curious to know what Google thinks, what qualifies or constitutes a helpful, high quality site. I think increasingly what that's probably signaling is going to be backlinks, like the trustworthiness and what's your domain ranking, right? Not just the content you put on there, but do you have, again, backlinks coming to you? And that's going to be, backlinks are a sign of trust, that if you've got other sites pointing out to you, it's trustworthiness. So that might become an increasingly more powerful signal based on what Google is telling us here. Keeping more spam out of your results. So again, just better spam policies to reduce like bad content or unresponsive content to a search inquiry. Scaled content abuse. This one is fascinating, this paragraph here, because there are generative AI tools. I've done videos on some of the generative AI tools that I use. Like the most notorious is going to be ChatGPT, that you can just like put in a term and have it create an article. But Google's saying they've had a long policy against using automation to generate low quality or unoriginal content at scale with the goal of manipulating search rankings. So in essence, like there are like some SEO people who have videos on YouTube, very good videos, right? Like testing and pushing the limits of this stuff, that are publishing 1,000 articles a day, right? And they're using AI to just do it. And they automate the entire flow. You put in a keyword term, it'll pull up like comparable LSI keywords or terms that should be included. It'll create the headings, it'll create the paragraph, publish it straight to the blog, all automated, right? And so I think Google is saying, hey, if you're going to have a website where in one day or 1 week, you've got these 1,000 or 5,000 posts that are all like best plumber for broken boiler, best plumber for broken hot water tank, best plumber for broken sewer, like you can tell that everything was done. You couldn't have done that without automation. Strictly relying on automation, I think Google is telling us that they're going to try to like keep those sites, those pages outside of the top search results. Which again, I don't know, because like for instance, with my own business, my publishing velocity, because of some tools that I use, has increased. Not doing thousands of posts in a day or a week, but if I give myself the space, 2 to 3 blog posts a week is my publishing cadence. And like, does that mean Google's thinking that at least in relation to my website, if that's scaled content on automation and that's abusive? Curious to see how they come down on that. Site reputation abuse and expired domain abuse. My understanding of this is a little bit beyond me, but it seems like people will go out there and use site reputation is what, if you search for parasite SEO, using the particularly newspapers seem to be the main culprit of this. Because of revenues being down, they need to find ways to generate revenue. So they'll take a newspaper's website. A person who with an affiliate link can sponsor a post, pay whatever the fee is to be to take the page or whatever, create the content. It'll be just kind of hidden as like an editorial or something like that. And it's like I would leverage the strength of the brand name and the domain of that newspaper, but it was just strictly to push my affiliate link, right? That's what it is. Site reputation abuse, parasite SEO, and then expired domain abuse. My understanding of how this works is that there are people who had these domains years ago. For whatever reason, business kind of fell out, but the content is still valuable and still could like be revived, and then using those domains to then boost the domains and content to boost someone's current project is what that's intended to curtail. So again, the last couple ones I get, like site reputation abuse, it probably makes sense. It's annoying to go onto a website and then it's very challenging to distinguish between something that is, the news outlet, for instance, their original content versus an advertisement. Not to call it anything, like CNN, for instance. If you scroll to the bottom, CNN.com, like I don't know what's legit versus what's not. They try to hide where it's paid promotion, paid advertisement, but hopefully this is intended to stop that. The one that I think what I'm curious about is scaled content abuse, and trying to weed out the use of AI and automation to create content. Because again, as a one-person show, with all the things you're trying to do in growing a business, like if I can leverage automation to create a first draft, and then I go in there and like I edit it, I add my own voice. Some of the language is good. Like I'm not going to delete everything and reword everything. Just if a sentence sounds good, I'll keep it in there, right? But I'll change and edit the articles so that it reflects, one, the idea that I wanted to convey, and two, that it's my voice. Right? So I hope that Google is actually, at least for small, with respect to smaller businesses who are trying to develop their online footprint, that it rewards people for doing that. Now, how they're going to tell the difference, I do not know. It's going to be very interesting to see, like how search engine results are going to change in the coming weeks. But anyways, I just found this fascinating. If you're someone who has a business and you're trying to, you need customers coming through the door, you need your phone ringing, one of the best ways I think to do it, it's been this way for years. I wish I'd spent more time and energy doing this in the past, but even if you get started right now, you can still win the game. And that's with SEO. Very simply creating good content for your website that answers people's questions with respect to that industry, right? So if you're a lawyer, if you're an accountant, you teach classes, you're a fitness trainer, you're a restaurant, you're whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's industry agnostic. You can create content that will drive people to your website and from there generate business. Some of the tools that I do use, and I'll drop the links below in the description. These are affiliate links, so just know that I do get a small cut if you decide to sign up for them. But again, I'm sharing these tools because I use them almost on a daily, or again every other day when I'm doing this kind of work. So the first one, it's become WriterZen. Let me hide my Honey Chrome extension. WriterZen I find is just like a really powerful keyword research tool, and the great thing about it is that right now they've got an all lifetime deal. You can get it here. I think it's like $600 for their highest tier plan that you'll get for life, and they've really been improving from the time that I got my WriterZen account to now, probably like a year and a half or so. They've added so many great improvements to make keyword research easier and more powerful. So I highly recommend WriterZen. Start your research there. Again, going back to another video I did, creating content is like three things. You got to do keyword or topic research, you got to do content ideation, and then content creation. So you start with WriterZen for your keyword research. Another tool that I've been using increasingly lately is KWHero. KWHero is a tool that I came across on AppSumo, and basically it has a keyword research element, and the team behind KWHero said that they started off building a keyword tool, but really where this tool shines is in the content ideation and creation side of it. Basically, you give it a term that you want to create an article about, it goes out and you can pick competitors from the top 20 results, and then it'll create an outline and a very, very good article that, again, it could be published out of the box. I don't suggest you doing that, but you could just, it's like that good that you can publish it as soon as it's done. I would add edits, voice, images, things like that, but KWHero is another thing that I highly recommend. And then finally, if you're someone who's got like content team, maybe you've got your own writer or you pay a VA to do the writing and then you come back, I highly recommend Frase as a tool. Frase is an SEO optimization tool. Same kind of premise. It goes out there, it takes the topic that you're writing on, goes out there, fishes the results based on the top 20 ranking search engine results, and then gives you ideas and suggestions for improving the searchability and optimization of your article. All great tools. Drop the links for all three of them below. I use all three of them. Basically, my workflow right now, if I'm being very frank with you, is start with WriterZen, find a topic, a long-term, like a long tail keyword that I want to write some content around. Go into KWHero, drop that bad boy in there, get my first draft. From there, go into Frase, take that content, go into Frase, optimize it, add my voice, add my images, add video, add links, and then there we go. What used to take me a week or 2 weeks, something like that, I can now get done in 2 to 3 days, depending on what else I've got going on. But it's really, again, shorten the timeline to get content out there and increase my publishing velocity. And I think you can do that for almost any business, right? If you do. So again, dropping the links in there below. Love to know what you think about Google's announcement today with respect to search results, and any other questions or thoughts you got around SEO for your business. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Anyways, until next time, you take care, be well. Bye for now.